Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you after another Subway Series game. One more to go tomorrow, so things remain interesting and getting more interesting all the time as the Yankees take it on the chin again today in a game. Listen, the Yankees yesterday did some things right, and then the bullpen couldn't do the job. The Mets got the big hit. They got the big plays from McNeil offensively and defensively and went on to a win. Today, the Yankees just got whipped from start to finish. I want to start with one thing that's an aside. And sometimes things that would be big issues don't become big issues because results impact reactions. You always know that in the business that I spent my life in. Results impact reactions. Some things don't happen. If the Mets had ever lost this game today and gone on to a day where Rodon pitched well, what Soto did in the first inning would have become a big, big issue. It didn't because it was erased immediately by a grand slam home run. But what the heck was he thinking? Now, I'm going to give him a pass on it and hope you never see it again. When you are the man, just go back to the first inning. You win yesterday. You've won 3 games in a row. You're in Citi Field, packed crowd, sunshiny day, and now you get the guys on base to start the game, and you're saying to yourself, "Okay, all right, here we go." The crowd is rocking. The anticipation, you can feel it. You have a pitcher who's now maybe reeling in the first inning, and you never, ever, ever, ever help a starting pitcher, get his first out of the game because sometimes that first out's a long way from coming. Don't give somebody the first out, and you have a guy coming to the plate who's red hot. They're on the edge of their seats. Hey, let's see what happens. Wow, look at this. And he bunts. The man who the team has been built around bunts. I'm not going to list the litany of sluggers who wouldn't bunt if you held them at the plate at gunpoint in that spot. Okay. But the idea that you would abdicate your responsibility, you're the man. They pay you a king's ransom. They pay you a fortune to go up there and wreck games. And you walking into a great situation at the start of the game in the first inning, sacrifice? The third sacrifice bunt of his career? Okay, that is such a ridiculously bad decision, and it is a disgraceful decision on his part. I don't know what was going on. I'm just going to think it was a brain warp, okay, and just move on. But that would have been a big story had the game not gone the way it did. You get a walk to load the bases, you get a nimble grand slam, and then no one's thinking about it again. But he bunted. He sacrificed himself in that spot. As hot as he's been, ripping the baseball everywhere. I mean, give me a break. It just makes no sense. But again, results impact reaction. So it's not a story because the Mets went on to a lopsided victory. They pound on the Yankees again. Ball clearly flying out of the ballpark, as it does when you get these hot days. And it has. I mean, the Yankees, their inability to produce runs when they don't hit home runs. I mean, look at the number of runs they've scored in the first 2 games, and look how many home runs they've hit. If it's 7 home runs. The Yankees have so much trouble stringing hits together to score runs. It is one of their many, many problems. But the Mets now have won 4 straight games. Okay? They've done it with no pitching, other than the fact that they have Stanek, who today had to go 37 pitches, so he's out tomorrow in what will be a bullpen game, but we'll get to that later. Diaz has thrown 3 out of 4. He threw, I believe, 18 pitches today, but he shouldn't even have been in the game. I mean, that shows you how pitiful things are for the Mets and how bad their pitching is, that they have to throw their closer in a game that lopsided. You don't wanna use him there. And maybe they were gonna get pop-up at the end and he didn't have time, or they're gonna start him tomorrow. We don't know because it's a bullpen game for the Mets tomorrow against Fried. But Diaz shouldn't even have been in that game today under normal circumstances, but these are not normal circumstances because the Mets pitching is in such disarray. It's amazing to think that they have a chance to sweep this series considering how just in complete disarray their pitching is. Complete disarray. Their starting pitching right now is a disaster. They have not one with Peterson struggling right now, they don't have one reliable starter. They have gotta get guys back. I mean, Montas gave him a lot better than I thought he would today. Actually strung together 9 straight outs at one point, went into the 6th inning. I was surprised by his performance today. That Met pitching, things have to improve markedly or they're gonna have more problems despite this 4-game winning streak. Alonso, who has always given the Yanks a lot of trouble. Guys who flourish in the Subway Series flourish. That's all there is to it. There's some guys who are just killers in the Subway Series. And Alonso's another one. He has had a great career in the Subway Series. He has today with the 2 big home runs. They get the granny from Nimmo. They get the, 2 home runs and 5 RBIs out of Alonso. And that's the Mets story. The Mets story is one of they've put together 4 straight wins, but they are not out of the woods until we see some pitching start to get healthy and consistent because other than Diaz and Stanek when he's throwing well and rested in the 8th inning, they don't have any pitching. They have a problem in the bullpen. They have no starters right now. As you can see going into tomorrow's game, where the only thing they could have is maybe Diaz pitch 1 inning in the 9th, maybe, and that's not even a given. But the problems right now are on the Yankee side because the Mets have won 4 games in a row, so their problems are at least pushed aside. I don't think the Mets have rectified any situations because of what's going on with the pitching staff. I have to see healthy bodies and productive pitching performances before I say the Mets are fine. They're not fine, but they got 4 wins in a row, and that has stopped the bleeding, courtesy of the Yankees, who have now lost 6 straight and now lost 16 of 22 and now lost 20 of 33. And I'm sure Boone is in the locker room telling his club they're the best team in the world because that's what he does. He pats them on the back no matter what happens, no matter how bad they execute, no matter how many mistakes they make, no matter how many games they lose. Everything is fine. No, we don't make changes. We're the new Yankees. We're not the George Steinbrenner Yankees. We're the new Yankees. We just accept and move along. We pat them on the head. We fluff up the pillows and we move along. But this has gotten embarrassing now. Rodon, who I couldn't really jump on this year. He is starting to come back to earth, and he, to me, is the anti-Pettit. Do I expect him to be good in the big game? No, I don't. I've never been a fan, ever. Has he pitched okay this year? Yes, from start to finish. Not lately. Was he good in the big games? Yeah, of course not. He is the anti-Pettit. That's what he is. But the bullpen has completely come apart as they get word that Schmidt now, and I'm not going to go back and retrace Smith's year and talk about the no-hitter and everything else. Schmidt's now on his way to Tommy John. We don't know if Heel is coming back. He's back when I see him come back and be productive. Then he's back. We know there's no Cole. They now have issues in their starting pitching. Maybe they can reach down and pull up somebody who's good. We'll see. We'll see. But even their bullpen is a major issue now. Weaver, we know what's going on with him. And Williams, there are guys who come here and just never, ever look comfortable in a Yankee uniform, never look comfortable in their surroundings, never look comfortable with our city or who we are or what we are. It happens. I've seen it. I think he's one of those. I think he's going to leave here with an unproductive, unhappy career. He looked miserable. I'm not there every day, but he looks miserable. And the performance is equally miserable. And they don't even have anything nailed down in that bullpen right now. And now the starting pitching, other than the guy going to the mound tomorrow in a game that, let's be honest, I'll get to when I finish this. The Yankees, can you imagine if they lose it? And they have a tough week coming up. They have Seattle, they have the Cubs. Before they get to the All-Star break, they've already lost 6 straight. They've already lost 16 of 22, and it hasn't gotten anybody's attention yet. I'm talking about inside the organization. To fix a roster that is not right, to put things in their right places and go with the guys who deserve to be the guys day in and day out, and fix what has to be fixed on this team. And when you're to the point where you're bringing in a rookie number 88 to face Soto, okay, and Alonso, you know what's going to happen. I'm not trying to get on Sandridge, okay? This wasn't Enter Sandman. This was Enter Sandridge. That's what you get in 2025. You get Enter Sandridge, okay? And exit stage right after some more damage has been done. It's not on the kid. But like I said, judge aside, when you see 88s coming out of the bullpen in big spots of guys you don't know and who haven't been here and are put into this situation, things are not going to get better. They're going to get worse. That's all there is to it. That's just the way it is. And that's the way it is right now for this Yankee team, which has got to rely on guys they don't want to rely on. And they can't produce, and they can't build runs, and they don't play situational baseball. And the only way they win is when they bludgeon somebody early and then get to the bad side of somebody's bullpen and bang on them. That's why, hey, people defending the Yankees right now, oh, they're good. They lead the league in runs scored. Who cares? They lead the league in differential. Who cares if they score 20 runs when they win a game against the B and the D and E and F pitchers on the staff? Who cares? The Yankees have had how many victories this year where they have piled it on when the game has been over? There have been at least 10 of those. That skews your statistics. Show me what they've done in extra inning games. Show me there how good they are. Show me what they do in close games. Show me what they do late and close. Show me what they do when Judge doesn't hit. Show me how they build runs without the home run. Show me how they make the plays and do the things on the base that have to be done in big spots. That's how you play winning baseball. They don't do any of that. And this is a team that got off to a fast start. Judge was otherworldly. Fried was off the charts, was not going to continue, but Goldschmidt got out fast, and Grisham got out fast, and Rice got out fast, and go down the line. And the Yankees are always going to hit because they have hitters. But that doesn't make them a team that will hit in big spots. They don't hit with men in scoring position. They don't hit in close situations. They don't hit when the games are on the line. And that's how you win games. Give me timely hitting over big bombers any day of the week. Tight defense, good pitching, and timely hitting wins championships. It always has, it always will. You don't have to be the best team in terms of scoring runs or have the most home run hitters or have the biggest numbers. You have to do it when the game's on the line, and this team doesn't do that. And just look at how they have played now for well over a month. Since June 13th, they have the second worst record in the major leagues. You know what? These are the Yankees. They've lost 16 out of 22. Had 2 six-game losing streaks. It's not easy to lose 16 out of 22 when you're a really good ball club because you're going to get the well-pitched game and you're going to make the big plays and you're going to win the 3-2 game every couple of days or the 5-4 game. You know, how many games have the Yankees had leads in recently that they've lost? And when you subtract Judge, who's maybe going to win a triple crown, I don't know, and you subtract Fried, tell me how good they are. Tell me what stands out. Go down the line and tell me what stands out. The fact that they have a lot of guys who can get the ball in the seats, we know that. So do a lot of other teams. The home run's cheap in the major leagues now. It's cheap. Go look at how many guys have 15 homers or more in the major leagues. It's not a big deal right now. Heck, you got a catcher in Seattle's got 35 home runs already. 35 home runs. You're going to see him, as a matter of fact. He's got more home runs than Judge. I mean, you look at the top guys in the mid order, and the mid order, let's be honest, is so bad at the bottom. I mean, the Mets, if I go there for a second, that bottom of the order is deadly. Unless Vientos hits, and he has come back now and slumped again. They are terrible in the bottom of that order. They don't hit at all. And I know that Taylor catches everything. But how long are you going to play him in center field when he's 2 for 100? I mean, the guy never gets a hit. You're going to have to make some adjustments eventually there. You know, you can't play in the outfield on a daily basis and not hit at all unless you're a team that just is loaded at positions offensively that you normally aren't, like second base, shortstop, catcher, stuff like that. Otherwise, you can't carry an outfielder, even a center fielder. And listen, there's been plenty of defensive center fielders. Plenty going back to the days. I could give you names you've never heard of. The Landises and the Berries of the world, who were great defensive center fielders who didn't hit. I can go on and give you Gold Glove names you've never heard of, but you have to be a certain team to carry that guy. The Mets have got to do something right now to their pitching in a big way, but they also have to do something to energize the bottom of that order because that won't last. Yes, they have a terrific 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll even give you 5 with McNeil, who I have always liked as a player. And his OPS since the All-Star break last year is 832, which is nothing to be worried about. And I like him as a player, and he's versatile. He can play a lot of positions. And yesterday, he won the game. But they have their issues too. But right now, what I can't get to, and the part that drives me crazy, and now it's getting worse, Schmidt gone. 9th inning, in real question with Weaver's problems and Williams' problems. They're not even good in the 9th inning anymore. They're not even good in the back of the bullpen anymore. Now they've lost another starting pitcher. And they have all the issues that we talk about daily. And how deep does this slump have to get before this team reacts to that? And I know a lot of you wanna lay it at the feet of Boone. This is more an organizational thing to me than it's a Boone thing, but I am not going to completely eliminate Boone from blame. As a manager, there comes a point where you cannot accept your team's play at that awful a level. There's a time where you have to, as a manager, turn the screws on your team to make sure they understand there comes a point where they are responsible for performance. This is a performance business they are in. You cannot every day is sunshine and we're great. Let me tell you guys, let me give you a big hug and tell you the best team in the league. You might want to tell them that after they got swept 4 games in Toronto, which is a joke. You're going to tell them that if they get swept 3 games in City Field too? Are you going to tell them that if they go 2-4 next week again before the All-Star break? When do you stop telling them that? Every day you don't want to turn over the food in the dugout in the clubhouse. I understand that. I'm not saying that every day you throw the bats around. But there comes a point where, as a manager, you have to make your team understand that there is a level of performance that has to be demanded, that there is a level of performance that is unacceptable. I don't know how far this franchise has to sink before somebody gets that message. Maybe they got to sink it to 4th place before that happens. Maybe they got to lose another, 6 or 7 games before that happens. But hey, you could see this coming 10 days ago, a week ago, and now it continues, and they act like there's no problems. Enough already. After the Toronto series, we said this, and now they come here and play like this. And now they've gone 2 games to a Met team that came into the series, and I guarantee you they sat around and had a meeting and said, "How the heck are we going to pitch to the Yankees with this group? How are we going to get 27 outs in a game against these guys?" And they're going to say that again tomorrow. And if they lose a game where the Mets will have no Stanek, they might not have Diaz. I'm going to figure they can get an inning out of Diaz tomorrow. I know how they pamper these closers now, but I got to figure they can get an inning out of them. And Diaz is good. I mean, I'm not knocking Diaz. He's good, but I got to figure he can give you an inning tomorrow. If he can't, that's their issue. But the bottom line is they're in a bullpen game against one of the best pitchers in baseball tomorrow. What happens if that game goes away and it's 7 straight losses? You got to figure it's going to stop tomorrow. I mean, the matchup could not be more one-sided. It's almost like the Mets are saying, "Hey, we got the first 2. We're playing a gravy game." Now, of course, the Mets want this game tomorrow, but look at the matchup. You got one of the best pitchers in baseball against a bullpen, and not a good bullpen. A bullpen that's been getting pounded. And the Yankees have still scored runs in these 2 games. It's not like they haven't hit home runs. They've hit 7 home runs in the 2 games. It's not like the Mets have figured them out. So it's hard to fathom a way that the Yankees aren't going to get a W to start their week before the All-Star break. I mean, if they don't, then you have to wonder what's going to go on. And when somebody in that organization is going to hold somebody accountable for this mess. The Yankees get very comfortable with a very low level of success now. Their owner, who's passed on, who would have been 95 yesterday, and we all saw the pictures of him yesterday, obviously had a different way of looking at things. A way that people obviously, now that it's gone, wish was still here. Even though sometimes it was comical, it often did produce something that have been very, very limited in supply, and that is championships. There's a complacency and an arrogance and an accommodation to performance around the Yankees that is not only troubling, it's alarming. Plus, you're tired of not seeing them make the move that makes sense. Change the roster so that it makes sense, so that it works right. Make the decisions that have to be made. And not always easy decisions, but make them and put the right guys in the right spots. And yes, they're going to have to go out and they're going to need arms now. And they could use a third baseman. We know that, okay? And put Chisholm at second. And we know they need bullpen arms, but now they might need starters too. That's a lot to ask for when you're going to think, oh, the Yankees are just going to snap their fingers and add all these guys. You know what? They might surprise you. They might not. They might not add as much as you think. And if you think right what they have right now is going to be, traveling down the Canyon of Heroes, think again, because it is not the case. This is right now a club that's in trouble, and it's been in trouble now for well over a month. It's not been in trouble for 3 or 4 days. This is not a 3 or 4-day reaction. This has now been going on, and they've for over 3 weeks have been one of the worst teams in baseball. So stop telling them how good they are. If we're here tomorrow night and they haven't stopped the bleeding with a W, and one W doesn't stop the bleed, doesn't change things, but it does stop the losing streak. And that's the first step you have to take. The Mets had to do that the other day. They did. They won the back 2 games against Milwaukee. They won the first 2 games against the Yankees. And to do that, considering what their pitching looks like, is, to me, surprising because their pitching right now is just ridiculously bad. And if they find a way to win this game tomorrow, then all bets are off this week with the Yankees. We'll see you after tomorrow night's game.